welcome to this edition of the Wonderbury podcast.
I'm Brian.
I'm Dave.
And you can find us online at wonderbury.com.
And I am D. Wonderly on Twitter.
Or I'm Brian Keysbury, anywhere the internet can be found.
You can leave us a link in our you can leave us a comment on our website. Check for the link in the description. A comment, website, link, description, go.
Comment, website, link, description.
Website, link, description, go.
You can comment on the internet somewhere.
You can leave us something on Reddit. You can leave us, whatever. What a week.
Yeah.
What a week.
Hey, so I ordered some pizza from my TV, though.
Oh, yeah?
It's interesting. I tried to build a new order. That's a little complicated.
Yeah.
I think next time I do that, I'm gonna try to screen record the process so people can see what it's like. But it was a little complicated, a little rough. So. Yeah,
there's a lot of really good stuff there, and there's stuff that's not quite there just yet, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know. I ended up getting a Hughes system for lights, Philip Hughes system for my lights this week, and we're taking definitely different approaches to the smart house stuff and the smart thing stuff, but I think we're doing all right with it.
Yeah.
And you've got, you channel everything down through your Shield, whereas I'm using the Google Home system as a hub, as a base, if you will.
Well, I'm using Google Assistant just without the home.
Right, you're using
the Google
it from
Home
your
device
phone.
base. Yeah, my phone and it's on my Shield. So my Shield has kind of been acting like a Google Home.
Now, does that work if the TV's turned off?
No, but I can say, "Okay, Google," and it will turn my TV on. But my phone listens. So if I say, "Okay, Google, turn my TV on," my phone will turn the TV on, and then it picks up.
I got you. So you have to have your phone physically on you to get the thing started.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my phone's always within reach anyways.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I've been kind of doing stuff off my phone a lot more lately. So I'll leave it either in my office or in my room plugged in or whatever if I need to have that. And that's one thing that I've started liking about having the actual home is that I don't have to have my phone. And it's finally starting to pick up when Alice says, "Okay, Google." And my phone just went off. But it's it's starting to pick up so she can request things now.
Nice.
And that's been kind of nice to have the separated hub because as she gets older, I can tie in. So with the actual Google Home, you can tie in different accounts to it. Yeah. And it recognizes voices. So when I say play whatever, it knows for music-wise, it knows to go to my playlists. When Hill says play whatever, it knows to go to her playlists. When Alice says play whatever, it knows to go off of her stuff.
Yeah. That's the one thing I've been missing, and that's probably the reason I'll end up getting a Google Home Mini. Just so... right now everything's on my account. So when they play stuff on the TV, it comes from my account.
Yeah, I got tired of having Peppa Pig in my suggested YouTube, so that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. That's a good show, man.
No, it is a good show. I have certain things that I like to watch, and when things come up and suggested, I don't want it to be stuff that she likes to watch.
Right.
Because then it ends up being Peppa Pig and Ryan's Toy Review.
Yeah. when
And
really all I
hours
would want to
of
watch
rides.
is like, I want to watch like SciShow and DIY Fish Keepers. So
Yeah.
I don't want to watch Peppa Pig on my own necessarily. Maybe.
So I know that if you like My Little Pony, you're called a brony. What is it if you're really addicted to Peppa Pig? They call them oinkers?
Oinkers? I don't know. Is that a thing?
Oinkies?
Oinkies?
I have no clue.
Oh boy.
So a new service launched this week.
Yes. Sort of.
It launched.
It's
was not working fully, but it launched. Well,
it was a service previously, though. Yeah.
Well, it was a service previously that doesn't necessarily do what the previous service did.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and take it, since you know a heck of a lot more about it than I do? I'm still learning about this stuff, and I have a few reservations, but...
Yeah. So what had started as Disney Movies Anywhere, which I've talked about that before. Disney, somehow in their infinite wisdom, decided to open the service up to other studios. So it isn't just Disney stuff that you can sync across to your retailers anymore. It's all of them. Which I was looking at Ultraviolet as well, which is pretty cool. Ultraviolet is essentially the same service, but it had Sony, Fox, Columbia, Universal, Lionsgate, and Paramount. It had all of the services except for Disney, but also only worked with like Vudu and Flixster, and none of the other, none of the bigger video
right. So
services.
when you buy a DVD and it comes with Ultraviolet code, you can input that code into either Flixster or into Vudu, and it would apply the digital copy of that movie to your account. Yep. So then you could watch, even though you bought the DVD, it comes with a digital copy, and that's the service that you could watch it on.
Yeah. And Disney, not wanting to be a part of that service, had created their own. Didn't add Flixster, but they did have Vudu. They also had Google Play Movies, iTunes, and Amazon Video.
Oh,
so
nice.
the four of those, the four major ones.
Yeah.
It seemed like I had access to the Windows Store as well, but that's not on the new service, so I don't remember. No, I seemed for sure like I had synced the Windows Store to it as well. But anyway, So they added more studios. Now we have 20th Century Fox, Universal, Sony, and the other one.
Warner Brothers. Yeah.
It's still missing Lionsgate and Paramount. But
it seems like they're in talks with both of those to try to get those to share across, though.
Yeah. And signing up, once I linked a retailer, I got 2 free movies. Once you linked another one, you got 3 more free movies for a total of 5, 1 from each studio, which actually I figured out last night. I was looking at them.
Which, unfortunately, I already owned 3 of the 5, so I only got 2 when I did it.
Yeah.
Because they are specific titles. It's not like you can pick a title from those studios to own, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would have been a little nicer if they're like giving you a selection of them. Because, like, yeah, I think I owned 1 or 2 of them. And it was kind of like, oh, well, why would I buy the same movie twice? Anyway.
So when we talk about that it syncs across all 4 of them, it literally does, which means you can open up Google Play. You don't have to use this app to view the movies. I can now open up Google Play and see all the movies from those studios that I had in all of my other services in my Google Play library.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I haven't tried to do yet, and I'm going to try, is once I have it into my Google Play, maybe you've already tried this. So say I had a movie in Vudu, and I bring it over to Google Play. Can I then flip on family sharing and share that movie with my family too?
Yes.
Oh, really? So it treats it as if you own it through that service?
Yes.
Until you disconnect the parent service, and then it goes away.
Now, there seems to be some conflicting advice around that, and I initially had started with if you disconnect, it takes them away.
Yeah.
Apparently, it keeps them on the other service, but stops sharing data with that service.
So that's even more interesting. So the movies will remain there on that service. So it's then a way to transfer all the digital movies you own to all the services you own.
Yeah.
Huh. We have to talk after this because I have an idea I want to try with this then. If that's truly the case.
I messaged you an idea last night, so
yeah, I'd like to see the QA engineer in me wants to try to break the service and see how far which we can get away with.
That's what I did until like 4 a.m. last night. I was messaging Churchill like, "Hey, here, try this. Hey, try this. Here, try this." Like, let's see.
So if I were to disconnect, say I connect my Amazon, and I know someone that has a lot of Amazon movies, and I use their username and password to connect my Amazon, it'll sync across to my other, and then I can disconnect their Amazon, and I still have access to their movie library?
Supposedly. It did say that there's a limit to how many times you can connect and disconnect.
Boy, this just made Pirate Bay obsolete.
Well, let's not like publicly announce any ideas, Dave.
No, I'm like I said, the QA engineer in me is trying to figure out, the conspiracy person inside of me is trying to figure out how Disney is going to monetize this, and now the QA engineer inside of me wants to figure out how to break it and figure out what you can get away with.
I think Disney might have done. It looks like it's now a shared entity because I noticed all the copyrights changed from Disney to Movies Anywhere and Key Locker, I think was what the actual stuff behind it.
Interesting.
So I think maybe they conglomeratized a little for this thing, maybe, and I don't know because I haven't looked into like the business entity or the legal, like any of the legalese yet, but I'm wondering if they all have a share of the service.
That would make sense. Especially for movies, that would make a lot of sense because I don't know. I think I remember reading something, and I think it might have been in Europe, of where there was a lawsuit or a pending lawsuit against studios for not allowing to have titles purchased. That when you purchase the title, it doesn't span across services. Though I don't think that would matter much to them, because if I bought a VHS of something, I couldn't take my VHS and get the DVD for it. Or if I bought something on Laserdisc, I couldn't take it and go get the DVD or the Blu-ray. Take a DVD, go get a Blu-ray. So
So think of it differently, though, as if you bought a Sony VHS.
Right.
And you brought it home, but you had a Disney VCR, and you put that Sony into the Disney VCR, and it didn't work.
Yeah, that's why Sony built Betamax, and everyone else went to the VCR, because that did happen, and the original just kind of fell by the wayside. Same with HD DVD versus Blu-ray.
I think they're taking a similar approach where they're wanting to incentivize more purchases, so they're saying, "Hey, you can buy it anywhere, and it'll work anywhere where you'd like to watch it at." They're
trying to promote digital media over physical media.
Yeah,
because physical media costs a lot to make and to process, between the case and the medium itself and all that stuff. That's interesting. I can see where that would behoove them then to work together. I know we kind of mumbled about this before and I went off the rails about it, but I kind of understand more now of how and why they'd work together. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, the unifying service itself, unless it's an equal share from all the studios, which I somehow doubt, because if it's copyright keylocker, they're making money off of this somehow.
Yeah.
And I don't know, are they doing it from the data to find out where people buy the most movies, and then they're selling that information for competing services back? Because while they don't make a lot, Google Play makes a little bit off of everything that you buy on there. And so does Vudu, so does iTunes, so does Amazon. So these are four competing services.
Hold on. I did read through the privacy stuff last night, and it shares all information between all four services. So if you buy a movie on Amazon, but then you watch it on Google Play Movies, iTunes will see that and know that you bought it there, played it there, and then it gives them that information. So they're probably just sitting there wondering, well, why didn't they buy or play it on iTunes? So I did find out it is sharing all of the information between all four retailers too.
That answers my question then, because that information is worth a lot of money from. Because I was trying to figure out what would incentivize. I understand what incentivizes the studios. I understand because there's so many different pieces throughout this whole thing. Because you have the studios, you have the streaming services, and then you have the unifying sync.
Yeah.
And trying to get all of those three, especially when all the studios are in competition, all the services are in competition, and then you have the gatekeeper. Now I understood the studios. I understand them trying to push out digital copies. I understood that. What I was trying and I was stuck on was figuring out why the four big streaming services would be on board with this. And that makes a lot of sense to me, because if I'm buying movies on Amazon and I'm watching them on Google Play, Amazon needs to try to now figure out, why am I watching it on Google Play? And Google Play has to figure out, why am I buying it on Amazon?
Yeah. And so it's giving them data to try to completely win you over. Like, Google Play would probably prefer you buy the movies there. You know, whether you watch them there or not. They make
money there.
Yeah. And that's probably how all four services are. They want to figure out what is making people buy things where and how to get them onto their service instead. And make it easy for that to happen. like if you,
Yeah.
I'd say my best example for this would be Sam.
It makes a lot more sense to me now.
Yeah. So with Sam, our buddy Sam, I believe his setup is he has a Fire TV stick, he has an Android phone, and he has a MacBook. And so, he's no longer limited to one of those. He's got his separate services on each one, but now if they're all synced together, he can watch a movie on his Fire Stick on Amazon Video, or on his phone, on his Android phone on Google Play Movies, or on his MacBook on not iMovie, iTunes.
Yeah.
So it opens it up for people like that too.
Well, and it also opens up because Amazon and Google don't have, in iTunes also, they don't have a partnership with Ultraviolet, which releases out every damn digital copy code out there. Yeah. You're stuck with either adding it to Flickster or to Vudu. So I have all these digital codes of movies that I've bought over the years that I had to open up a Vudu account just so that I could watch the digital copies of those, because I couldn't do it on the services that I used.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Which now syncs them together. So anything that you've put into Ultraviolet syncs to Vudu, which syncs to Movies Anywhere.
Which then propagates out to the other ones.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I also noticed is, Vudu has a service called Disc to Digital, where if you have say you have a DVD, you can scan the barcode of that DVD. And then for $2, you can have a digital version, a digital SD standard definition version. Or for $5, you can have the HDX version, which I haven't figured out if that includes 4K or not. I don't know if Vudu does 4K. I would assume it should.
Let me look this up real quick.
So anyway, so you can scan a title in Vudu, and I did this with the movie Snatch. I scanned it in Vudu, and I got my first one free, so that was nice. Ended up with like 7 free movies that day. So I scanned Snatch. It popped up. It went into my Vudu library, sank to my Movies Anywhere library, and by the time I had looked up to the Google Play Movies app on my TV, it was popping up and showing me that movie in my Google Play Movies. And I was able to just click and watch it on my TV that quick.
So it looks like the HDX on Vudu is full 1080. And I'm opening this up right now because I think they have a SD, an HDX, and a UHD. But I can't see where it talks about. It looks like it's not, the UHD is not necessarily 4K, but I think it's scaled up from HDX.
Weird.
Oh no. Ultra HD, UHD is 4K format, so that is 4K.
Okay.
So if they have SD, HDX, and UHD. The UHD is the 4K.
Yeah. So one thing I have done so far is I started going through like my different wish lists on the different apps I had anyways.
Yeah.
Trying to get those all merged together, which seems like that would be I don't know if that's something they would add to the service, but would be pretty handy. Because I get notifications when things go on sale. So if a movie goes on sale on Amazon, like being able to get that notification when I added it to my wish list on like Google Play would be pretty cool.
Right. No, it looks like it's really good. I don't know how much further than movies that it will go. I think TV shows. I think that TV shows are a little weird because if you own seasons or episodes of TV shows, I think that those should be treated the same as movies. But I don't see it competing for every television studio having their own VOD system.
Yeah.
Because they realize people are spending money on that, and I don't think the sharing information would be worth it to the television studios. I think that maybe purchased ones, maybe, but I don't think we'll see like the Hulu partnership up where they're showing the episodes the day of or the day after release. I don't see that happening with, or even Netflix starting to do that and Amazon. I don't see those contracts transferring over to different services that have not paid for the rights of those contracts.
Yeah.
For example, Amazon has some shows that they've got partnership with television shows where they will show that week by week they'll update the episode for it. Google Play does not. Google Play, you have to wait so long before it's available for purchase.
Well,
and
it depends on specific ones too. There's been a couple shows that I've seen where you can buy the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that television studios have done that is dependent by service, dependent by show. It's not an all or nothing. They have figured out how to nickel and dime the heck out of that system.
Yeah.
And good on them for doing it. I mean, they figured out how they can make more money that way. But that's why I don't think we will see this expand out to television shows, because that becomes a quagmire of a mess and contracts and exclusives and all that stuff just becomes very, very murky very, very quickly. I mean, for perfect example, wrestling, WWE, they have their own video-on-demand network with the WWE Network. They've got all the pay-per-views on there, they've got shows, they got all that stuff. But even their own shows of Raw and SmackDown are delayed going to the network by several weeks because of the contract they have with Hulu, even though Hulu doesn't show the entire episode. And USA doesn't, while it's broadcast on USA networks, they don't have the rights to put the show on video on demand. So they shoot a 3-hour episode of Raw. 90 minutes of that episode goes to Hulu, and everyone else has to wait almost a month before you can watch the entire episode, even on their own service, because of how those contracts are written. And that's why I don't think we'll see the television shows. Stuff like that is why I don't see, because you have the studios, which is WWE Studios that produces it. They broadcast it on cable on the USA Network, which is USA Viacom?
Yes. I have no idea.
I believe so, because SmackDown just switched from Sci-Fi over to, for some reason wrestling was on Sci-Fi, Sci-Fi over to USA, so I think they're part of the same, so that's a Viacom group. Hulu's owned by someone else entirely different, but
Hulu's partially owned by Disney.
What? Who?
Disney. Hulu. Hulu's partially owned by Disney.
Oh, that's nice to know. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But even though they hold the broadcast rights, they don't hold the video on demand or streaming rights to the show. Even though the WWE owns the show, they don't hold the immediate broadcast rights for redistribution to their own show that's owned by Hulu. And they don't even put out the whole show. They chop it into a 90-minute condensed version of a 180-minute show.
That's purely because the people over at WWE have taken way too many blows to the head. And even though they weren't real, it has apparently done some damage. Because it sounds like they stupided up their contract deals when, they shouldn't have given away their own rights.
They did that because it was making a ton of money for them. Hulu is paying them bucket loads of cash for that exclusive streaming. Bucket loads. A hell of a lot more than they would make from their $9.99 a month that they charge for the WWE Network.
So what you just told me, though, is that potentially Disney owns part of the rights to stream WWE.
No, Hulu, not Disney.
Well, if Disney owns Hulu...
Well, okay, but that's like me saying Disney owns a part of Hulu in the same way that I own a part of Twitter and T-Mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'm a shareholder in a bunch of different stuff, but that doesn't mean that I am definitively owning and has a say in what they do, because I am nowhere near a majority shareholder.
I think Disney, the last time I remembered looking, Disney was pretty close. They were in the 40-something%, or maybe more. Which I'll have to go back and check that out, because now I'm really curious about that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this thing, it looks like it's going to do all right. I mean,
And especially once more of the studios start coming on board. I want to see Lionsgate and Paramount, and then once they start, once they start pushing more like MGM and start getting into the smaller studios like IFC and some of that stuff, it'll be a lot bigger deal than what people think it'll be.
So Hulu is a conglomerate much in the same way that this Movies Anywhere is, but it's for television. Because Turner, NBC, Disney ABC, Fox Entertainment, 21st Century Fox all own portions, all have portions of it based on a cash infusion system. So Hulu is owned by an organization that has investors from all the television studios. And that's how they're doing what they're doing.
Huh. So Hulu is the Movies Anywhere of TV.
It's not owned. Well, yeah, and that's pretty much what it is. So Hulu is legitimately what... It is the streaming option, and it's more of the live and the television style option of what Movies Anywhere is doing, only they charge for it.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see either of those two start merging some.
I don't know. That could be interesting to see, but this thing could really go somewhere.
Okay.
We'll have to do a follow-up episode in a few months to see how it's done and see if there's more studios on board. See if they reach out to some of the indie studios and see if they want to be a part of this thing too, and what all you can kind of combine and bring in.
Yeah. Okay.
Because digital rights and digital streaming, man, that's the future of everything.
Yep.
But I think that about does it for this week, brother.
Yeah. This has been about our best episode since 2017 when Shane McMahon fell 20 foot off of Hell in a Cell through an announcer's table.
And Sami Zayn pulled Kevin Owens out of the way ending their year-long feud and establishing them as friends again.
Silly. Craziest soap opera you'll ever see. Wrestling.
So much fun. I'll see you next week, Brian.
Watch Bold and the Beautiful.
See you guys next week.
Later.